So I'm going to start this video by saying that I'm going to be referring to Donald Trump and Elon Musk as social media influencers throughout this video. So all other aspects of these two people, their personalities and what they represent, any opinions that you might have on them or that I might have are going to be omitted from this video. We're going to be talking about them objectively as social media influencers, the same way you talk about someone like PewDiePie. Objectively looking at what's going on the platform of Twitter, the old management of Twitter. Elon Musk is the current new manager of Twitter. Donald Trump as a user of Twitter. Elon Musk as he exists as an account on Twitter. Donald Trump as he exists as an account on Twitter. Both of them as they exist as personalities representing themselves in the entertainment world. All the other things involving business, involving politics, all those other things will be in the background of this video, of course, because you can't mention either one of these names without invoking all the things that each of these two symbols represent. But all that being said, you will have the privilege of being able to watch this video and see all of my art that I've created, which is also part of the reason why I made this video. But I figured that while I show it to you, I might as well tell you my opinion on what I call the secret alliance or the secret plan that exists between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and whether or not they're in actual communication with one another is actually secondary to the points that I'm going to bring up, because all that we need is the evidence of what's going on Twitter right now. So if you haven't already watched my Elon Musk sort of acquisition of Twitter assessment, my initial assessment of the original fallout, this is all a video that I made before the bringing back of the Trump account, right? So I'll link that video in the description if you want to get historical, my analysis. It's like a 16-minute video, and it goes into detail regarding the layout of the website right as soon as Elon Musk acquired it. And I made points in that video saying that the new algorithms that the website's new management are implementing and allowing for users to actually share information that isn't built by overarching narrative basically put forward by the platform. It's interesting to see right now Elon Musk is operating Twitter as if it with that old thing. He's decided whether he wants Twitter to be a publisher or a platform, and I think that he's chosen platform, and he's showing what it's like when a social media platform acts like a platform and doesn't act like a publisher. And for those of you who need to know what a difference between a publisher and a platform is, it's like a publisher is like a magazine, like CNN publishes and chooses the stories that they're going to put on their magazine, and they edit out, they censor out all other information other than the information that they choose to put in their magazine. Whereas a platform like Twitter, anybody, and I mean anybody, can go on there and post a tweet, which means that it's a platform. And there's different legal boundaries that exist for the whole ecosystem involving both of those two things, and it should be understood. So the fact that Elon Musk has gotten a lot of the bugs out that existed in the old management of Twitter because of various different mismanagements and corruptions that were able to occur and sort of leak through the cracks over time, because Twitter is a pretty old flat platform. But first of all, I want to start off by saying that Twitter is a great website. It does its job perfectly. It has since its inception. It was very innovative when it was first created, and there's a reason why Elon Musk bought it. Twitter in and of itself does serve a purpose, and it doesn't matter what political affiliation you have, what business background you have, where you're coming from in the world. The fact of the matter is that as an app in the App Store, Twitter does as described, and it does it well. And it's an innovator, it was a trailblazer, and it's good to see that Twitter isn't going MySpace mode in the current year, because it's actually getting the love and care and remodeling that it deserves. It's sort of the same way that Elon Musk bought the Tesla company, and then he remodeled it and gave it sort of the legs so that anybody can drive a car. Essentially now he's making it so that anybody can anybody could have a car that drives themselves. Anybody could have an electric car. Anybody could have a Tesla. It doesn't matter what your background is. You could have a Tesla. The same story goes for the way that he's operating Twitter. It doesn't really matter what you're posting on Twitter as long as it goes according to the community guidelines and it follows the laws of your area. And if you use common sense, then you're good on the platform, which I think is actually really great, because with that, people will be more invested in the platform and people will want to put more time into it, because they know that they're not going to wake up one day and see that their social media account was deleted. And then also the fact that he's allowing for retribution. He's actually allowing for a pathway to bring back banned accounts, which is a huge innovation, which is something that all social media platforms should probably follow suit, because it's going to reshape the entire platform. I was actually originally going to title this video that Twitter could become the new YouTube if Elon Musk manages the video functionality on the Twitter platform correctly. I don't see why that's outside of the question. So it's totally within the realm of possibility to see a whole magnitude of things that were totally outside of the realm of imagination leading up until this point, just because of the old guard sort of social media, the legacy social media platforms of yesteryear from like the earlier 2009 era and so forth, which is sort of the generation that adopted Twitter to begin with. Well, that whole aspect of the social media landscape, I mean, when one player like Twitter, for example, decides to innovate and decides not to ban people and decides to at least just take the foot off the gas when it comes to micromanaging the way that people operate on the website, I think everybody gets a breath of fresh air right there. Because instead of having sort of like a nanny, instead of Twitter being like a nanny who's always in the room, who's always in the feed, Elon Musk is like a cool uncle who goes upstairs, like the parents who go upstairs to their room while the kids are having a party downstairs, and we're all able to have the Twitter party and share any of the information that we have, as long as we don't break the rules of the house. And Elon Musk being the owner of the house, I think, is far more advantageous, and it has proven itself to be way more beneficial for the company, Twitter, as evidenced by the fact that Twitter is actually seeing more activity than it ever has seen in its lifetime. I mean, I've been using Twitter pretty nonstop forever since it was created, because I really do like the platform. I really do like Twitter, and it's been sad to see the way that it's been mismanaged in the past couple of years, and all the bannings and stuff like that were completely reprehensible. In particular, banning of political people and stuff like that were all totally just off the wall bonkers. And it doesn't make any sense to ban people on there, because you should allow them to have a conversation in the public square so that their ideas can be, basically can be evaluated. You see, what the main issue is with the fact that they ban people is that they create these monsters that are that can't be touched by Twitter. See, the fact of the matter is, whether you like Donald Trump or not, the fact of the matter is that when he got banned, he moved his followers all over to Truth Social. He went away from Twitter, and he created his own social media platform. And what that is he created an echo chamber outside of Twitter for the people who are his supporters, where they're all, whether you like Trump or not, this is very significant, because it means that the people who have different opinions, where if you consider Twitter to be sort of just like a general public square where everybody can be, which is sort of why Twitter is a genius idea when it works. And I think that that's sort of the vision of Twitter that Elon Musk is working to bring back. So you take all those variables into consideration. It's never a good idea for large pools of users to leave the room. They leave the party and then they go off and have their own party on another website. It's just generally bad for the overall discussion, because you want to have as many opinions as possible. The public square should be able to allow people who have the weirdest opinions to come up, people who have weird opinions, people who have wrong opinions, people who have information that might not be fully correct, but maybe it's got some insight in certain places. It's never a good idea to just pick and choose and moderate and curate the platform and mismanage it by micromanaging it. Nobody likes it when the platform steps in and strikes a piece of content or takes it down or puts you in Facebook jail. These are the sort of things that are the death nails for the modern social media hegemony. These old guard social media platforms, which at one point were sort of like they were rogue in the very beginning, during like the early days of YouTube and such, the early days of Google even, the early days of the internet for that matter. The internet was the wild, wild west when it was first created. We had things like eBum's World and 4chan, all these different weird, then, Reddit came later, and all these different things. I'm talking about the early 2000s internet. 1999 internet was totally different than the internet of 2022. And sort of what we see is that when these social media platforms get introduced, they're wild, wild west style. Anybody can become a YouTuber sort of thing. But now that's not as much the case, because for one, YouTube doesn't really go the extra mile for its users. It has really no internal algorithm to suggest content to people who are on the website, which is a real shame, because if YouTube would just learn its lesson from Twitter, it'll learn its lesson from the way that Elon Musk is going to manage Twitter and make Twitter way far superior in value to YouTube and a lot of other Google products for that matter, perhaps even Google itself. That was a theory that I put forward in a previous video as well, that at one point Elon Musk could in fact make Twitter more powerful, more popular, and widely used social media platform than Google itself. And it is possible over time. I mean, while we see a lot of these different platforms are in decline, I mean, definitely YouTube, but I mean long term, Elon, or even just sort of like as he increases his web of influence, now that he's taken to adopting platforms and bringing them under his wing, there's really no telling how far his interlink is going to expand and the various different aspects of the internet that will be under sort of that Elon Musk umbrella. And if he manages it and continues to keep up the same general philosophy that he's had up until this point, then I don't see many problems arising whatsoever. I think the general status quo of the website will continue to move on. And right now he's proven that he can bring Trump back. You know, he's proven that he can bring Trump back, and it doesn't cause problems for society on a massive scale to the point where people are outside, rioting in the streets and stuff like that. No, that's not the case. You know, banning a social media platform, the style that the old management of Twitter really loved. You know, they really took a lot of pride in their ability to just ban whoever they wanted whenever, and that was despicable management of the website, and it managed the website to the ground, and it lost them a lot of money, and it made the overall public square a lot less interesting place because there were less voices being welcome, and the general sense of humor, tone, and demeanor of the website was pretty lowbrow, and overall the internet culture suffered as a result of it. But now, since Elon Musk is allowing for these sort of outside ostracized ideas to sort of open a window and get a breath of fresh air, perhaps a lot of the different elements of Trump that the people who are opposed to him, people who criticize Trump should be able to criticize Trump to his Twitter. You know, when he doesn't have a Twitter, you can't go and send him a tweet. You know, how are you going to get in contact with the guy when he's off on Truth Social? You don't even know what kind of information is being circulated over there, whether you agree with it or not. And this is something that should be concerning for people on all fronts, because take the opposite example. Imagine if Biden or somebody got banned off of Twitter, and then the Biden echo chamber went off onto its own equivalent of Truth Social. And this could happen over the course of 100 years from now. The way that these social media platforms are managed today is going to set a precedent that's going to affect the usage on the platforms forever. So it's within everybody's best interest not to ostracize anybody for any opinion, as long as it goes within the community guidelines. And this is just logical thinking for straightforward people who don't want to get involved with this sort of divergent political nonsense that's seeking to subvert people by confusing them and just sort of diluting the public discussion by postulating these nonsensical ideas, which is sort of a common trend. It is sort of a form of gaslighting that we see happening, and it's done through throttling, it's done through algorithmic manipulation, and it's done through the curating of the information flow. Essentially, they're trying to act as a bank. They're trying to act as a filtration to a sort of gate guardian of information, so that people can't spread the information and share information on the public square. So perhaps you clicked on this video thinking that I was going to espouse some sort of grand conspiracy that could be existing between Elon Musk and Trump. But no, just looking at the two of them as social media influencers, they've managed to rack up more internet impressions than conceivably imaginable. And Elon Musk has managed to racking up currently more internet impressions on Twitter in the form of people uploading videos, uploading images, uploading text, and just generally interacting with the platform, to the point where he's representing an active side of the internet, and he's outperforming a lot of these other platforms. And they better wise up right now, because the fact of the matter is that I think that as a businessman, now to talk about Elon Musk as a businessman, I think that he noticed that there was a supply and demand issue. There was a vacuum that existed in the mismanagement of these social media websites. He's like, hey, I could just go buy Twitter for a few bucks. It'll go crazy. It'll go crazy viral. And it did. And everything's gone according to his plan. And lock, stock, and barrel, the people who oppose Elon are literally on the platform tweeting, trying to grow their Twitter accounts on the, using hashtag Elon is bad. And the hypocrisy and the irony of that is staggering. It shows across the board the fault in the system, that the rot that's able to grow in the social media habits of these people who proliferate on these platforms to begin with, that are mismanaged by these old guard, like the people who used to run Twitter, who've given us a perfect example of how the different shifting dynamics and things like that are working. And, in the stalemate sort of like crappy suggestion, what we see as far as like the algorithmic throttling being a problem, you see it right away when you go on YouTube's homepage. If you've been using YouTube for a number of years, you've seen the evolution of YouTube's homepage. And I'm going to make an entire video about YouTube's homepage and how Elon Musk could really reshape YouTube. And I think that he should consider buying YouTube as well and bring YouTube's homepage back to what it was, because effectively YouTube has gotten rid of the homepage. Remember back in like 2012, YouTube's homepage would be different every time you came on the website. You go on there and you wouldn't know what you were going to get recommended to you. Sometimes you'd get videos that had 1,000 views. Sometimes you'd get videos that had 1 million views, and it was crazy to see something when it was going viral. There were featured things on there. There were top picks. There were categories. There were the best performing videos in each category. When it had the top most subscribed. It had every YouTuber who was in the top like 1,000 ranked, and people would have their ranks displayed as a badge on their channel. People actually went to each other's YouTube channels and like went through it and went through the videos, and like it mattered back then to people what your subscriber count was, and then people would read comments and there were video replies and stuff like that. YouTube had a lot of features, and it still does. YouTube is still a great platform. It does have a lot of great analytic tools. It has great search engine features. It does work. It does deliver you the content that you're searching for, but it could be managed a lot better. They could really, just to put my opinion out there to YouTube, they could learn a lesson from Twitter, because just the same way that Elon Musk is sort of now recently managing Twitter in a style that's akin to the original philosophy of Twitter, perhaps YouTube could follow suit and manage that website in a demeanor that's akin to the original philosophy of that website, and not throttle different views, and allow the best opinions and the best factual information to rise to the top, and allow public opinion and allow the mob rule to upvote and bring back the dislike button and make it mean something. By having a dislike button, it allows the person who's new to a piece of content to gauge the overall collective consciousness interpretation of that piece of content. And it's a real shame that YouTube got rid of their dislike button, and everybody on all sides of the political spectrum should be mad about that, should be disappointed and disgusted, and should say that YouTube should bring their dislike button back. There should be a like and a dislike button. There was supposed to be a hot or not sort of style website to begin with. It makes a lot of sense to have a dislike button. If you don't like Trump, you should be allowed to dislike his video, and it should show all the dislikes, and it should show all the likes on videos that you like, and it vice versa. Or, so that's what I'm saying. And it's in everybody's best interest to have social media platforms that function these ways. And we're in a desperate situation right now where they really shouldn't be getting rid of these functionalities. They should be improving on them. They should be innovating on them, and they should be refining them and bringing back these old modalities of, and functionalities of the way that these websites were originally created. Or otherwise, these new platforms are going to come up and create an algorithm. If you guys have a way of communicating to anybody who has the power to create and run a social media platform, like maybe Kanye West could run his social media platform the way that the old YouTube was functioning. I mean, I'm just a person who's frustrated with the way that these social media platforms are being used. I don't vote. I'm not a political person. I'm not registered to a political party. I don't have any political opinions. I just want to see damn funny videos, and I don't want to see the same damn Jimmy Fallon H3H3 nonsense recommended to me on YouTube every time I go on the website. I want the website. I know there's millions of videos on YouTube. There's millions of videos on YouTube being uploaded daily, and you get like 30 of them recommended to you. It's awful. They need to bring back the recommended bar. They need to bring back YouTube's homepage. They need to bring back the suggested videos, and if they did all that, then people would care more about the website. They would care about YouTube Rewind. They would care about the #1 most subscribed YouTuber again. The website would rake in cash. They would have, it would be awesome, and everybody would benefit. I don't understand why these websites are being purposefully mismanaged and throttled and all these different things so that the internet can't really breathe. In the fact that we're all on these just sort of old social media platforms that are kind of like bubbly to begin with. I mean, it wasn't, it's weird because like they try to like brand it as if it's like made for a younger audience, but these platforms have everything. I mean, shout out to TikTok because I think TikTok really does show a good example of a great recommended system. I mean, the For You page on TikTok is really interesting because it will recommend to you just anything. Like you could see, there's everything on TikTok. TikTok reminds me of YouTube when it first came out. It's like TikTok is still in that wild, wild west stage where literally there's just millions of videos on there, and you could learn so much using the platform, and people could go viral so easily on there. You could go viral on TikTok. It's not a good enough platform because it's not the thing that YouTube has that's better than TikTok is like it has the video description, it has long form content, it has the community, it has the history behind it, and it had video recommendations, it had a comment section that mattered, and it had an internal sense of itself. But it could come back. But it is exciting to see Twitter finally looking like itself again. It's like Twitter's been sick all this time, and now finally it's able to breathe. So we'll see how things go. We'll see what other accounts that were banned finally come back. And, go check out Twitter. Get on Twitter, guys. Go over there and check it out. It's a total dumpster fire over there of just biblical proportions. The magnitude and the scale. I hadn't seen a tweet that got 1 million likes and retweets in like only a short few hours in a very long time. And things are trending on there that you wouldn't believe because people are finally allowed, the algorithm is finally allowing the people to suggest things that are relevant again, and it's not like being throttled and manipulated. And you can see that Elon's tweaking things behind the scenes, and it's really something to see. Just that, I mean, as a person who runs a website, the guy definitely understands. I mean, he's not launching rockets into space for no reason. So yeah, if you watched all the way to the end, make sure that you subscribe and comment down below and share this video. I'd like to hear your opinions, and I hope you guys enjoyed the AI artwork. I will talk to you guys soon. I appreciate all the subscribers and all the support. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.